Hello, welcome to the Joe Cortez Show here in Las Vegas, Nevada, the entertainment capital of the world. Today, I have the privilege of having two special guests on the show. My dream before I began into boxing, my dream was to be a singer, but I didn't really have it. I got to do some a cappella stuff, do stuff up on the stoops in New York and Spanish Harlem. But then I got into boxing, so boxing led me in a different direction. So today, I have the honor of bringing on Westley Stevens and his beautiful wife, Shelly Dartz. So it's a pleasure having you on the show, guys.
Thank you, Joe.
It really is an honor to see you guys here. You guys look pretty sharp. Look like you guys ready to go on the stage right now.
Anytime. Gotta stay ready, right?
You were wrong. You were born ready too, eh?
Gotta stay ready.
All right.
Yes,
Okay, so tell me a little bit about yourself. Now, you're both from Philadelphia, and you started in your entertainment field how many years ago?
Oh, wow. I have to count. I go back to a child. I started in the church as a kid, gospel music. My great-grandfather was a Baptist minister.
Okay.
So I lived in the church and I did gospel. My cousin was an opera singer, so
Wow.
I would imitate her as a 5-, 6-year-old
Wow.
boy. And then I kind of got into jazz. My uncle was Duke Ellington's lead saxophone player.
Wow, yeah.
So I would play with him occasionally, and I thought music was life. I had no other way thing that I knew other than my music.
Yeah, that seemed like a couple of years ago, right?
Yeah, it feels like that sometimes.
You still look like a baby.
Well, I don't know about that.
Now we got a beautiful wife
Thank you,
here.
Joe. You're sweet.
Beautiful wife, Shelly Dartz. Can you tell us a little bit about your career? How did you get started into music?
In school, I always wanted to be like in the glee club or in choirs in church, and I always had something about me inside that knew I wanted to be in the entertainment business. So I started auditioning for Broadway musicals, and I got a couple shows, and I was between Philadelphia and New York. And then I was born in Jersey, so I was just doing the tri-state area, and something sparked in me. I want to travel the world. How can I do that for free? Okay, I'll be a flight attendant. So I became a flight attendant with
Really?
Pan Am.
Wow.
So yeah, you know how old I am. I'm dating myself. There's no more Pan
You
Am.
still look like a yellow teenager yourself.
Well, thank you. But Pan Am led me to a world that I'd never imagined, traveled to so many different countries. I was home on a break, and my girlfriend took me out to dinner for my birthday, and this is where I met Westley. He had just left, I think it was the Commodores back then. He was writing so many songs.
You were writing for the Commodores.
Yeah.
Well, I was with the company Philadelphia International for quite a while.
Oh, yeah.
And they had people like Lou Ross, 3 Degrees, Sister Sledge, my former band, the Stylistics. And quite a few more, Teddy Pendergrass, Harold Melvin. So I did a lot of writing songs.
So you a lot of the big ones.
Yeah,
back in the
I was
good old
blessed
days.
with some great artists to be
I
around.
saw you the other day performing, you and your wife, at a restaurant called My Mother's House
House.
here in Las Vegas.
Yes.
And so you got up there playing the piano with that beautiful voice that you have, young lady. You were doing the 2 lead songs that night.
Yeah.
Then when your husband got on the piano, he was there playing, singing that voice. I said, "Whoa!" Blew me away. I said, "Man,
Thanks, Joe.
these guys can really sing."
No.
I mean, here we're the entertainment capital of the world. You ended up in the right place.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Speaking of that, we tour so much. We've been touring over the last 25 years or so.
When
that
I
we've
met
lived
him, I
here.
just quit with Pan Am, and we just started performing together. Somebody heard us singing that night when I met him in the restaurant, and they hired us as a duo. And I'm like, okay, we can make this work, and that's how we got started.
Were you able to start a family during your career?
Yeah, we had family. We were both married before.
Okay.
So we had children from our previous marriages, but we never had time to have any together. So we got bonus kids, you know. And since then, we've been traveling. So now we're able to take our children, our grandchildren around the world and show them places that we've been. And that's when we started cruising. So we were cruising around the world for about 23 years.
Wow.
So they could get the opportunity to travel as well. So it's
you
been
never
good.
got a seasickness on those cruise lines?
No, never from me.
No.
What she does, I'll tell you, she sleeps in the hurricanes.
I can sleep, yeah. It rocks me to sleep.
It's nonstop. I'm at the window looking out at the waves. She's snoring.
So tell me, what's on the horizon for you these days?
Well, we've been doing a lot of different things since we've been on land the last year and a half. We're trying to get reestablished here. When we moved to Vegas from Philadelphia, well, from Japan actually, 24 years ago, we were playing around town quite a bit. And then by going out on the cruise ships, it kind of took us out of the circle for a minute. So we're trying to reestablish ourselves now here in town. We're playing a couple different places.
We're
What is-
playing on
of course.
Saturday nights at a New Orleans-style restaurant called Lola's of Summerlin. And Lola's from New Orleans, and she makes all the Creole cuisine and everything, and we always have a good time there every Saturday. And then sometimes we're at my mother's house where we met you, Italian restaurant up in Del Webb. And then we have little gigs coming up here and there. We're going to be at the winery, Pine Hollow Winery.
Pine
We're going to
Hollow
be there next
Winery,
Friday.
Okay, I know the owner there.
I know,
They
she
said
tagged me on
yes.
Facebook when she
We were
saw your
surprised.
picture on my
I
page.
believe her name is Barbara, is it?
Barbara.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah.
Hi, Barbara.
Really good people.
Yeah, we'll be there on Friday.
Yeah, yeah,
And then we
okay.
also have a date coming up this Wednesday at Splash,
Splash.
which is a new venue on
Right on
Flamingo.
Flamingo, West Flamingo.
with Patrice Isley Productions. Patrice has been really, really good with us since we came up of our tour.
Great person,
we
great
met
singer.
her and we just clicked, and we've been doing a lot of things together, and a lot of projects. So, yeah.
So that is called Splash on Flamingo?
Yes.
Flamingo, West Flamingo.
Hey guys, here in Las Vegas, you're going to see some good shows, entertainment capital of the world. This is a place to come. Right here, you can see this beautiful couple. Now, tell us a little bit about your background. I know we got some photos that we want to show our audience out there.
Yeah.
And maybe we can put them on there. We can you can talk us through some of these photos that we have. You tell us a little bit about what's going on here.
Well, on this particular one, it's just kind of a shot we recently took on there.
That's kind of a tribute
the
to how we
dream.
got our name is Twice as Nice.
Twice as nice.
We didn't have a name when we first met because we had never really worked together, and we were like, okay, what do we call ourselves? And a customer in the restaurant just says, well, you guys are so nice. Matter of fact, you're twice as nice. And we're like, okay, that's kind of catchy. Let's just keep it.
Catchy
So
name.
somebody said, you're twice the music, twice the class, twice the style, or something like that. So we just use that as
That's
a
the
motto.
appropriate name. What else we got there now?
Oh,
Now,
it's
this
when you
takes
first
me
started with
way
the
back.
stylistics, right?
Way back. When I left the Stylistics in the interim, there was a band. This gentleman in front of me there in that picture, his name is Don Elliott. We started a group, and we went to Singapore with the Stylistics, and Singapore didn't want to let us go because we were actually opening and playing with the Stylistics at the same time. But they decided, why don't you guys just get your own thing and just stay in Singapore and come back? So we did. This was a band I was with.
So how long were you in Singapore?
It was 3.5 years in Singapore.
You know, I was there once to referee a fight. It's one of the cleanest cities in the world, they
It
say.
is beautiful.
And they're very
beautiful
strict
city.
when it comes to crimes.
Ooh,
Oh, yeah.
Don't do anything. Don't spit on the ground.
Right.
Don't do anything.
Don't do anything wrong
Oh,
because
no.
they're very strict.
It's where you can just about eat off the ground there,
Yeah.
so it's clean.
Those laws they have there, maybe we should have them here in the United States as well.
I agree. I
Not
totally
as
agree.
bad because they're kind of tough there.
No
Yeah.
lashes. They
No
don't
lashes.
give you the lashes.
Yeah, they'll ask you that. So let's say, here we have another photo here. Who's this here?
And these guys, this is the original Stylistic backup band.
Okay.
We were called the Philadelphia Sound, and this band had a wonderful, very smooth sound and could play just anything. Every person there was a great singer, a great musician.
Who was the lead singer there?
Well, I was one, and the gentleman in the back in the middle, Doc, he wrote a song by the name of "You're a Big Girl Now, No My Daddy's Little Girl,"
Okay.
the Stylistics' first hit.
Yeah, that was a big one.
And
that was back in the late 50s, early 60s?
he wrote that late 60s,
Late 60s.
1969.
69, okay.
1969. And it was, we had some great times. Every artist there is still doing well, and I'm happy to have spent some time with
Everybody's
this
still kicking. That's good.
Yeah.
Let's go to the next picture there.
Oh, this one, yeah,
Oh, it
Charlie.
was in Japan. We were performing in Philadelphia when we first met, doing different restaurants and clubs around the area. And then we picked up an agent, and an agent sent us to Japan. And we were supposed to be there for 7 weeks. We ended up staying for almost 10 years,
Wow.
back and forth. And this was at the Blue Note, famous jazz club in Osaka. We were
Well,
performing
they're all
there.
over. Actually, they started in
New York.
City.
Yeah, they're
The
in New
Blue
York.
Notes, and they have about 4 or 5 of them still around.
Right.
It's a whole circuit, and playing in the Blue Notes was, anybody has done the Blue. Something like Madison Square Garden.
Right, there you
You
go.
know what I mean?
Yeah, no, very, very popular place.
Yes.
And here?
Once again in Japan, we became friends to the sumo wrestlers, their sponsor. used to come out and hear us perform in different venues, and he got us hooked up with the sumo wrestlers, so we played at every event that they gave in Japan, and we got an award for playing with them, having the best music. And Konishiki, he became a very, very good friend. We still see him to this day. He was in Vegas last year. We hung out with him and his wife.
He's the champion Yokozuna, is what they call. He's a very, very, light on his feet.
He lives in Hawaii.
He could actually box, I think.
He was like Muhammad Ali, light on his feet.
He weighs almost 700 pounds at one time.
Really?
But his heart is really big, really wonderful man.
Yeah.
We visit each other all the time. If he's in Hawaii, we'll go there. If we're here, he comes here. So it's been great.
Okay, so let's go to the next one here.
And this is San Juan, Puerto Rico.
Okay.
I was Taekwondo champion at one time, and Muhammad told me I could train in his camp in Deer Lake if I taught him some of that funny stuff.
Right.
Is what he called it. And so...
This when he fought Pierre Koopman, right?
Yeah, he fought Pierre Koopman in San Juan, Puerto Rico. And actually, this was after the fight, but he had come the night before that. We did a show there, the Stylistics.
Right.
And he was a fan of the Stylistics, so he was at as many shows as ours as possible.
Yeah, now he was staying at the El San Juan Hotel.
That's right.
Down in Lisla Verde.
This guy's got a memory on it.
I know, right?
That's
well, I
100%.
was there for that. I remember they had a boxing ring set up, and they had him there. He was shadow boxing, moving around. And I was the executive manager of the El Conquistador Hotel, which is the sister hotel of the El San Juan. That's what I remember. And I was there in the ring with Muhammad. Well, outside the ring, I was getting the papers for people to autograph, and I would give it to Muhammad Ali. He would autograph, and I give it back to the fans that were there at ringside. Back but that's what I remember. Pierre Koopman. I was confusing him before with Pierre Koopman with Jimmy Young, but it was George Foreman who fought Jimmy Young.
That's right,
in Puerto Rico. But Muhammad Ali, Jean-Pierre Koopman, another heavyweight,
This was right after that fight.
Yeah.
He was happy. And he said, okay, we're going to train tomorrow, kid. So he felt so good.
Yeah, Muhammad Ali,
he was
the great guy. He was a magician, too. He pulled out the handkerchief.
He loved doing his magic.
He did all the crazy stuff. And he put stuff
he
in
loved his magic.
Especially with the kids.
The old quarters he used to do all the time.
And we had that in common because I actually met him on a Pan Am flight. You know, I was working first class and he was there and he would let the kids come up from economy and he would show them the magic trick.
Yeah. Well, what a great person. It was a sad moment when he passed away a number of years ago.
Yeah.
I had Ernie Shavers in my gym working out. I have a gym, private gym in my house, a boxing ring, and Ernie Shavers was working out with me. And when he passed away, we had the interview Ernie Shavers and myself in my ring, and with reference to Muhammad Ali. Then Leon Spinks, who beat Muhammad Ali back in 1978. Here in Las Vegas at the Hilton Hotel, and Leon Spring used to come to my house and work out in the gym with me. I used to do the pads, and Leon Spring would come there and work out with me. He was suffering from a little bit of dementia, so his wife Brenda would bring him over to work out with me once a week. I said, once a week, bring him over. And he was starting to open up a little bit more, being more sociable. And when even his doctor said, Joe, what are you doing with Leon? He's changing so much. I said, well, he's working out in my gym on a regular basis. And he passed away about 2 years ago. Another good guy.
He lived here as well.
He lived in Vegas for a number of years, yes.
We ran into him in Philly occasionally.
Yeah.
He used to come there and train sometimes.
Okay, now who else do we have next here? Who's this here?
Ooh, who's this girl
that
here?
was my first musical, Sweet Charity. Like I said, I'm
on the
dating
right,
myself.
she's on the
These
far
shows
right
aren't
there.
popular anymore, but
Was
they
this
were
on
popping
Broadway in
back
New York?
in the day.
Broadway,
I did musicals. I started off in Philly, and then I did some in New York as well, and Jersey. I was all over the place. I was in the tri-state area.
Okay, New Jersey. You say you were born in New Jersey. What's
Trenton.
Trenton, New Jersey.
Yeah. Quite
Okay.
by accident.
Okay,
My
yeah.
mom, she's from Philly, but she went to a party at the last minute, and that happened
Yeah,
to be why I was born in Jersey.
Yeah, that's where they have the New Jersey State Athletic Commission, and Larry Hazard, who's a former referee, he's a commissioner there right now.
Okay.
Yeah, and I came from Hackensack, New Jersey, before I moved to Vegas. I'm originally born and raised in Spanish Harlem, New York.
Love
When
it.
I moved to Puerto Rico, I lived there from '69 to '77. That's when I got to meet Muhammad Ali. And I met Sammy Davis at the El Conquistador Hotel. And that was a great experience. But then I ended up in Hackensack, New Jersey, before I moved out to Vegas here in 1992.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so we got
I
something.
used to
Sinatra
associate
country?
myself with Puerto Ricans because my father was from Brazil and I couldn't find any Brazilians. I used to hang out with the Puerto Ricans
Yeah.
in New York when I lived in New York.
Yeah, yeah. We had a lot of Puerto Ricans. Now there's all mixtures of
Yeah.
individuals. I lived in Spanish Harlem.
Okay.
So it was the Afro-Americans and the Hispanic, but Puerto Ricans. Now then there was the Cubans, the Mexicans,
Yeah.
and the Dominicans. Now
Yeah.
it's
Yes,
all
everybody
nationalities.
melting pot.
Yeah, melting pot now. Yeah, you're right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It's
So-
changed a lot, that area.
Oh, yeah, it got much better now. I came from 99th Street Park in Madison, right across from Mount Sinai Hospital. And that area today, the apartments there are just beautiful. The brownstones,
Really?
they're unbelievable what you got there now.
Those
wow.
brownstones, because they're built so well. I mean,
Yeah. I have a friend, Bob Guiccioni. He was the owner of Penthouse Magazine. And he lived in a brownstone. Him and I became friends at the El Conquistador Hotel in Puerto Rico. And he wanted me to work for him in our New York office. So I came up for an interview, and he took me to his brownstone apartment that he had bought from Judy Garland.
Oh, wow.
And he kept the living room the same way Judy Garland used to have it. It was the bright velvet blue furniture and the white piano and all that. It was just
Everything
beautiful.
authentic.
He kept the living room the same, but the rest of the apartment on the brownstone, he changed it. But real nice guy. That was a good experience for me, being in a beautiful brownstone like that.
Did you ever
yeah.
go to the Apollo Theater?
The Apollo Theater on 25th
I
Street in
grew up
Harlem.
in that Apollo.
You did that right?
We performed there all the time.
Yeah, they ever get you up with the hook? Get you on stage? You were too good for the hook, right?
I hope so.
A lot of big
I
famous.
don't remember it coming.
But they used to have the hook. I used to laugh, and people would boo you off that stage. They come
right.
out with a
They will,
hook.
yeah.
The guy come with a hook and pull you right off the stage,
That's
right?
right.
Yeah.
Dancing.
But it was a lot of great talent came out from the Apollo.
That's
Yeah.
a fact.
And they were there since the early
you could
50s.
gear yourself from the Apollo. I mean, if you wanted to see if you were going to make it in the business,
Right.
you play the Apollo, and that's going to tell you. If you do well at the Apollo,
That was the springboard for you.
exactly.
You make it from there, you got it made. And to this day, I mean, I don't know if they still have the contests there like they used to, but they had a contest there every week back from the 50s up until to the 80s or whatever. Yeah, the Apollo Theater is still there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So what else can you tell us about your music? I mean, what's your music today compared to when you were first starting out?
A little bit different.
Yeah,
A little bit.
A little bit different, but we try to enjoy
the contract's a
all
lot different than
styles
what
of
back then, right?
music.
Before it's a handshake, and those guys are sorry these days that did the handshake.
No more of that.
No, you got to do the contract
You gotta
because
do it
you got to get the
right.
royalties, right?
The music business today, because of technology,
Yeah.
is changed so immensely. I mean, it's helped it in many ways, like many things.
Yeah.
In many ways, it lifts it up, but in many ways, it takes it to a lot more difficult. A lot more things are happening. You can't, as far as record companies, for example, you still have the major record labels. You need them for proper promotion, distribution, but you can start your own record company and do it through the internet. We all know.
Right.
But the problem with that is your sales. You can't keep an eye on things like
you can't
normally
capitalize
should.
on it. You can't
Yeah.
capitalize properly.
Yeah, you can't.
You
It's
definitely
not-
need a manager to manage those accounts for you.
Exactly, and the old-fashioned way was better only because everybody had a job to do. Everything's hands-on, and the artist could be the artist. But now the artist has to be the promotion and the this and that, and so you get lost in a lot of things.
Yeah, well, it's talking about getting lost. A lot of the entertainers today, I know Hollywood's on strike because of AI.
Yeah.
They feel like artificial intelligence.
It's a whole nother thing.
It's another whole different. And the entertainers out there, and the movie stars are kind of like, hey, wait a minute, we're going to be losing out on this. I mean,
Yeah.
all you need is a little bit of me, and then you don't need me anymore, and we don't get paid for that. That's not right.
Exactly, and like you said, with social media, anybody can become a TikTok star now.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
it's just a lot different than it was.
I
I,
mean,
don't know how to tick or talk.
I mean, what they do now, I mean, they can just clone your voice for about 30 seconds.
they can.
Yep,
30
they
seconds.
did.
Now they can do a whole conversation. You talking, it sounds like you talking for an hour, and then all they need is 30 seconds
Yeah,
to clone
you
your
can
voice.
get it,
That's
yeah.
what technology is these days.
And when I was young, I wrote, I was telling a lot of these songs, and I had to sell the songs because, well, I didn't have to. I wanted the money. I mean.
Yeah.
So I didn't get publishing rights. The main thing that most artists have to think about these days is not to make the same mistake I made back then. I mean, I wrote a lot of hit songs, but I sold them to the company, so they put their name on them.
Yeah.
They said, well, we paid you for them.
Yeah,
and
that's it.
It belongs to me now.
Yeah.
It's no longer yours. So what I try to do is let the new artists of today understand that make sure that you get some publishing. Don't expect a lot out of your first hit.
Yeah.
Don't expect a lot. Just get what you can and
Open the door.
build your library.
Right.
The thicker your library becomes, the better your deal. A record deal is exactly that. It's a deal. It's like buying a house, buying a car. Whatever deal you make is the deal you're going to come out with. Get a good lawyer, good entertainment lawyer.
Entertainment lawyer, not just a regular lawyer, entertainment lawyer.
Entertainment lawyer.
Who knows the rules,
Very, very, very important.
knows the laws. Yeah.
That's what I didn't do.
Yeah.
And fortunately, I'm blessed. I'm still doing what I love.
Yeah, yeah.
But I didn't.
You're one of the lucky ones because
Yeah.
I know some entertainers, especially in the Latin field, that back in the days for Tito Puente and Johnny
Tito.
Pacheco and Harry Hollow
Ooh.
and all those guys, they ended up walking away with nothing in their pocket. Because
Sad.
all they did was a handshake. They weren't doing no attorneys
Well,
involved.
back then, people had a different,
Yeah.
you know.
They thought a handshake was a gentleman's agreement, and that was
Exactly.
enough.
Right.
But then later on, they realized they made a big mistake.
That's right.
Yeah.
So as they say, we live and we learn. And,
Yeah.
and we hope that somebody can maybe pick up on our misfortune to make it a fortune for them.
Right. So, Shelly, tell us about your career now. What are you plan to do anything else besides the singing? Are you thinking about doing any more acting?
I would love to get back into acting, but once again, being kind of new to Las Vegas, even though we've been living here for a while, we've been like away for so long, so I don't really know how to make the right connections yet. And like you said, I don't want to get hooked up with anybody. Like I went to a modeling audition once, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we'll make you a big star, but you have to pay us all this money." I'm like, "No, that's not the way it works."
That's
I
right.
remember I used to model back in the day, and you didn't have to pay them; you get paid
Right.
from me being a model. So I knew that was some BS. So now I'm kind of like wary of a lot of people and a lot of offers that you see on the social media. So if I can connect with the right people, I'd love to get back in.
Anybody out there watching, you can see that. Look at that beautiful face. Look at how talented she is. And she has a background. She has a resume. This is where you guys start thinking about somebody like her you can bring on the show. And, she's ready to sign a contract right away.
Absolutely.
No handshakes.
That's right.
No handshakes.
Dotted line.
Okay, tell us, Wesley, so tell us a little bit more about how do you see today's talent? You got these young talent. I mean, I watch a lot of these shows, America's Got Talent. I see these young kids, 10 years old, 11 years old. What voices
Very
they have.
talented.
Yeah.
How is that these people are so talented, young folks, so talented? Where does that come from?
Well,
Like yourself, I guess.
it's
Started in the church?
It's in the blood. It's like
In the blood.
It's something that God has gifted us with. The problem is we don't know what to do with it in a lot of cases. The parents, like with me, my great-grandmother, great-aunt raised me, and they had no clue other than the church. That was my only avenue.
Yeah.
And they weren't thinking about business as far as I'm writing these songs. And it's like, okay, so he's getting money. They didn't think publishing, as I was talking about. You can't be in this business without your eyes wide open, I have to tell you.
Right.
Because it is a business. That's
Exactly.
with all the talent of these young people, their parents have to understand, I have to think business-wise. I just don't think it's cute because they're doing a great job.
Exactly.
Think of it as a business.
I watch some of these entertainers. One of my favorites, Tony Bennett.
Oh, yeah.
Watching Tony Bennett.
God bless his soul.
Yeah, he was a good guy.
Yeah.
And also another guy was Nat King Cole. He has a brother, I don't know if you met Freddie Cole.
I've heard him. I'm not really familiar.
Good guy. He's a performer at the El Conquistador Hotel in Puerto Rico.
Oh, okay.
And he would be there performing every night of the week at the Sovereign's Lounge that we had at the El Conquistador. And him and I used to hang out together. Tuesdays was his day off, so he would come up, I'd pick him up, him and his wife, and they had a little adopted boy named Lionel. And we used to take him over to my house every Tuesday. I had a small little boat, so we'd go out on the yacht, we'd go out fishing and whatnot. Him and I, the best of friends. Then I lost contact with him for about 15, 20 years. And then one day I was playing a celebrity golf tournament up in New Jersey, and some other guys, some bankers and whatnot, a fundraiser that we were doing. And then some guy, Freddie Cole went to a bank, and he was talking to a banker, and he saw a golf ball on the banker's desk, He said, so you're a golfer? He said, oh, yeah. He says, I got it. He said, I was playing with a famous referee, Joe Cortez. He said, you know Joe Cortez? He said, what's his number? You got a number? He gave me his number. He gave Freddie my number. I got home that afternoon. I got a voicemail on my phone. It was Freddie Cole. I said, Freddie Cole? I haven't heard from the guy in 20 years. I said, that's Freddie Cole, Nike Cole's brother. I called him up. He performed me down at the Hilton Hotel in New York, in Manhattan. That night, I said, Freddie, I'll be there tonight. I got there. He was playing the piano. We were playing the piano, and I walked into that restaurant where he was performing. Man, he stopped right then and there. He stopped. He said, excuse me. He had to get up. He got off the house. He gave me a big hug.
I would have did the same
Freddie
thing.
Cole.
Yeah.
And right now, he's in the late 80s, early 90s right now. He's still alive, and I believe he lives in Alabama someplace.
After 20 years.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And I spoke to him a couple of years ago. He said, Joe, you got to get me out to Las Vegas now that you're living out there. I said, I got to see what I can do, Freddie. But he still like to perform. He still like to
still
sing.
doing 88 years old?
Yeah, 88, 90, around there, yeah. He's
That's
still he's
beautiful.
up in age.
We all
But you
pray
know
we
what?
can make that.
When he used to perform out there at Conquista Hotel, people would say, Freddie, can you sing one of your brother's songs? He said, due respect to my brother, I'll play the music, but I never sing any of his songs. I do only my songs.
No.
You know? And that's like Freddie
I
Cole.
can respect that.
Yeah.
I can
That's
respect
amazing.
that. Does he sound anything like his brother?
Oh, he sounded something like his brother.
Different style, but
Yes, sir.
well, that's the one thing we were talking about. The young people, artists, they have to. It's good. People ask, who can you be or who can you sound like? Be yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the most important thing to do. I love legends, how they go about what they do. But I say to each artist, be an artist. It means you paint your own picture.
Right.
You have your own style, because not 1,000 Stevie Wonders or 1,000 Sinatras doesn't work in this business.
Yeah.
You need individuality. You need to have your approach and your.
Just like Michael Jackson, I mean, he is unique.
Yes,
He's one of a kind.
That's what it's all about. Take what you are and expand on
Exactly.
it. Just like as a boxer, as you have to be, your style is what's going to make you
Like a
work.
Mike Tyson style. Or Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali.
All different styles.
He used to look at Mike Tyson years after Muhammad Ali retired. He looked at Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson was Ali's favorite fighter. He said, man, this guy can punch. I would never want to get hit. If we're going to prime together, I want to fight this guy. He hits too hard.
See, I want to be across the street in another ring. Right?
Yeah. Now, talking about styles and whatnot, I got to become good friends with Wayne Newton here in Las Vegas.
He's starting a new show here, isn't he?
Yeah, I believe so, yeah. And I saw him one day at one of the shows at the Bally's Hotel. It's not a big band like he used to. He doesn't do the kind of shows he used to do with that kind of audience.
Right.
He does a smaller audience now. But him and I became good friends. He used to come to all the fights, and we would sit down, him, Jack Nicholson and myself would sit together, and we'd just, watch the preliminary fight before I would do the championship fights.
Mm-hmm.
We became good friends. I tell you, he's another, they call him Mr. Las Vegas.
That's right,
Because he had all the, he had the charm and whatnot.
Yeah, he was the original Las Vegas.
That's right.
When
That's
Las Vegas was
But then you have,
built today.
yeah, Frank
built on.
Sinatra, and you had Sammy Davis back in the days.
right. That's
All the
right.
great ones there. Yeah. Who do you think? Who do you see now on the horizon as an up and coming performer singer? What are your favorites today?
Bruno Mars.
I was going to
Bruno
say
Mars.
that's my favorite.
I beat her to the punch. I knew she was going to say that.
Well, I got to see his show a couple of months ago here in Vegas.
I
What an
would
entertainer
love
he
to
is.
see
Yes,
the show.
Yeah, he's good.
He is like, what can I say? He transcends through every country we have
Yes.
ever traveled to.
Yes.
And, that's one thing I love about cruising is we get to go to so many different countries. We sing in like 7 languages. And we sing all kinds of music because you get all kinds of people. So we can go anywhere from Andrea Bocelli and Celine Dion singing The Prayer to Bruno Mars doing
Wow.
Uptown Funk in a heartbeat.
Wow.
And when you come to Vegas, people tend to ask you, what style of music do you play? And we're like, everything. And they're like, you can't do everything. We're like, hell yeah, we have been all our lives.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is. But they don't believe you. They want to put you in a box, but we're kind of not in a box. So maybe that's why we're not as popular here as the other groups, because we try to mix it up for everybody.
Well, I
We
can tell
read
you-
the crowd.
I can say one thing about you. You're like, you're like one of the favorites here in Las Vegas. People seem to like you and like the way you are.
Thank you.
And they see that beautiful face. They love
What
it.
timing.
You know.
I love it. Thank you.
But I tell you, I'm so happy that we were able to meet up last week and get you on my
Me
show
too,
today.
Joe.
Oh,
So our
me
viewers out
too.
there can see the kind of talent we have here in Las Vegas. And we have great talent in this individual couple. They're twice as nice, It remind me of New York, New York. I say, New York, New York, so nice, you named it twice.
Yeah.
So you guys are twice as nice.
Aw.
It really is an honor to have you on the show. Hope to have you again in the very near future. And again, you're
Absolutely.
performing where these days?
We'll be at Lola's tomorrow night up in Summerlin.
That's Saturday
And
night.
At Saturday night. And Wednesday, we're going to be at Splash. I think it's on Flamingo, right?
It's on Flamingo.
And then on Friday, we're going to be at the Pine Hollow Winery. Maybe you can join us to see Barb, the owner, and that's on Charleston. Yeah.
Okay, now,
But they can
if
reach
somebody
us-
wants to see you online, somebody wants to reach you online, so
Yeah.
anybody out there wants to book you, where can they reach you?
You can reach us on Twice as Nice featuring Westley and Shelly on Facebook, or we both have our separate Facebook pages as well. We're also on Instagram, so you'll find us. Yeah, we're
Any
still
phone
under
numbers?
Twice
Any
as
phone
Nice.
number?
Yes, 702-588-1730.
Okay, you got it there, fans.
See you guys.
Good to have you on the show today. You guys are amazing.
Thanks,
Thank you so
sir.
much. A pleasure meeting you guys. And again, a pleasure. And remember, guys, this is my Undisputed Champ.
Yes, sir.
Fair but firm.
Yeah.
Take care, guys.
Love you, Joe.
Take care.